Welcome to the JAMODI podcast, where we interview coaches and leaders to find out not just what they do, but how they do what they do. Becoming the best version of ourselves is JAMODI, just a matter of doing it. What is one quality you see in leaders that coaches and players need to cultivate in their own habits and actions?
Well, mine's real simple, Matt. It's short, it's sweet, but it's kind of, you got to be consistent in what you do. And then you got to formulate accountability. And if you do that as a leader, you do that as a player, everybody's on the same page. You don't eliminate problems, but you definitely decrease the problems because you've been this way, they've been this way. And when I mean consistent, I mean like it's hard, but you got to be that way when you get your butt kicked, and then you got to be that way when you do the same to somebody else. It's a balance, and if I'm real high when we win and real low when we lose, I think that's kind of a problem.
Your players might mimic that.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
They really do, and it's tough because it's not the exact same. When you win, you have a different feeling, you have a different look on your face, your whole stuff. But when you lose, it can be completely opposite. And if you're not careful, I mean, you can just, I don't know, it kind of sabotages what you're trying to do. So for me, every day I try to be consistent in our practices, and then I want to be as accountable as they are. So it's my job to come there every day, give us the right practice, set the right tone. And if I don't, I'm not accountable. And then at the same time, it's easier for me to get onto them or to correct it or, lead them in a different way if I'm doing it every day. I had a kid from another team, and he transferred in, and I try not to compare stuff, but I was just curious what it was like where he was at. Mm-hmm. And he was like, well, coach, sometimes, what's crazy is you're here every day. And I thought that was kind of strange. It's like, what do you mean? He goes, well, you're at practice every day. Most of the time, a lot of times it's assistant coaches at practice, and head coach might not be there all the time. And I was like, that's what I want to stay away from. Mm. I asked him just the other day, how many days you think that I've missed, outside of quarantine, outside of the freeze. And they're like, well, coach, you missed that one time. I got something on my nose, like a staph infection. So I missed a day for that. And, but you don't miss. And so what I was really doing was saying, some of you are missing too much, and they understood what I was saying. It's like, if I'm going to be here and I'm accountable, why is it that you're the player and you find reasons not to be here sometimes, but yet you have these tremendous goals and lofty aspirations, but you don't show up. So, and that's not a norm. That was just one player going through something.
Sure.
That's kind of what we explained to him, So consistency, accountability, that, every day in practice, Matt, I don't know what your practices are like, but for us, we kind of have a routine, and they know we're going to come in, we're going to warm up. When we finish the warm up, we're going to go into ball handling. When we finish the ball handling, we're going to go into shooting. When we finish the shooting, we're going to get into transition passing, something to get them moving. Then we're going to get into the things that we need to do. Then after that, we go into another type of warm up that stretches them a little bit further. And now we get into our team stuff. So we do that every day. And during the season, we do it. I do it during the athletic period, and we do it after school too. So they're doing it two times a day, every day. But during that consistency, we find different things to do during those ball handling or passing, different types of drills. But it's always consistent. That way they know what's coming. They know what the expectations are. And I try to explain to them why we do it that way too. It's like, I'm going to do a shooting drill. We're going to work on our offense, but we haven't even warmed up shooting. So when we start missing shots, it's going to make everything look bad. You're not going to be in it. So I need you to be the best shooter you can be when we start going over our team stuff to make them believe in it. And then we'll get to one of your other questions leads into what that is and the individual skill development, stuff like that. But that's what we do.
I love hearing about the plan that you have, and I would imagine the fact that they know what's coming, even though the drill or the individual skill work, ball handling might change, they know that that segment's coming. Because of that repetition, that pattern, you're probably able to get to a lot in a shorter amount of time, or be very efficient with your time, because you have that plan in place.
Yeah, I think it helps. It makes everything smooth. We walk out at 12:15, and I speak to them for about 5 minutes before practice. We talk about some of the aspirations, some things that are going on during the day, either positive accolades, or we correct some behaviors that may have happened in that first 5 minutes, and then we're into it. And by 12:20, we're on it, and we're going, and they know that. And we don't. A lot of places have built-in breaks.
Mm-hmm.
I've been doing it for 30 years. We never have a break. I mean, we don't have water breaks. They get water if they need water. It's right there. They just get it, and they're paying attention. And, everything for me is broken up into 5-minute segments.
Okay.
So even if I've seen some coaches that do 2, 6 minutes, 8 minutes. I'm not smart enough to keep up with that when I make the plan. So everything's 5. And, but every day I walk out with a plan. All the coaches, I make the practices. We talk about it, kind of what we need. We go over a few things. I type them up every day, and then I give it to the coach, and we go out and we do our thing,
I like that idea. I like that idea of not having structured water breaks put out throughout your workout, but the expectation is, listen, I mean, when you're in a break, when you're out of a drill, if you need a swig, go get it, but you better stay engaged. I mean, you could steal back, golly, probably for some programs, steal back 10, 15 minutes in your practice.
Yeah. That's the thing. We never, I wasn't, my coach never really had breaks and things like that. So when I started developing it, I just never put breaks in there. The break might be, during your free throws. That's really your break.
Yep.
You're going to shoot whatever. We shoot 1-and-1s, and we got to shoot 10 of them. They come tell me what it is, and then we do we call them Spider-Mans. We do Spider-Man if we don't hit 80 or 90%, and so that's kind of how we do our stuff.
You got, if you don't mind, what's a Spider-Man?
It's just, it looks like Spider-Man. You get down and you look like Spider-Man crawling the wall, but you're crawling the floor, and they're down low. And some days I say, hey, man, you look like a Daddy Longleg, or man, you're a Black Widow today. But and it takes seconds, but at the same time, we're getting a core workout with them.
Flexibility there. Hip flexibility is really good.
Yeah. They're staying loose. I'm not just running them.
Yeah.
We don't run near like I used to run them, but they just understand that.
Why do you think that change has been from when you started?
Well, I used to, I still run them, and I still punish for. There's always a winner and a loser.
Mm-hmm.
Punish in a different way, or we reinforce in a different way. It used to be I just line up and I'd run maybe 10, 15 minutes straight, and then the rest of the practice was crap too.
Yeah.
So now, we'll do some forward, some back, some push steps, something that's basketball related, some up downs, whatever in between. Whereas I used to, I ran the day of a game. If a shoot around, if it wasn't right, we lined up and we ran it. So you kind of evolve over time and find something that fits your guys. And, if my guys don't think they're being competing, they don't do as well. Just do something to do it. That really doesn't resonate. It doesn't resonate to me, so it doesn't resonate to them either. It's like the free throw competition, like I said, if you're shooting against air and you're not making 80 or 90% out of your 10 shots, we've got problems. You got to figure that out. You're not going to shoot that in a game. The guys aren't going to shoot 80 or 90, but in practice they are. And so we're not going to have those guys that go up to, we call them 50-50 guys. And I don't know, we do some crazy things, but we laugh at them. Hey, he's 50-50, but they all line up and they try to make them miss. Instead of trying to make them make it sometimes, we try to do like the opponent does. And
it's more real. Yeah.
Yeah, we yell at them, we scream, I sit there and tell them, I know you can't make it. You're weak-minded, or there's no way. I see it every day. You're so weak, you can't make this. And then they're trying to prove something to me. So anyway, that's just kind of a simple thing that we do.
I got to imagine, even with something like that on the free throw line, when you're trying to get in their head a little bit, what type of reinforcement, positive, you come up behind them after, or you have one-on-one talks with them to make sure they're staying on the path that you want them to stay mentally?
Really, it's kind of like, man, I just said that just to see what you do. This is what they're going to be doing in the game. I knew you're really going to knock them down, but I can't sit there and tell you that all the time, because everybody's yelling, screaming. So we're having those kind of conversations with them. Like, man, I knew you were going to hit it, but I just had to see how we build them up the same way. Mm-hmm. Just letting them know that we do believe in them. And it kind of goes back with the whole thing, Matt. I wouldn't be able to run my kids. I wouldn't be able to condition them. We wouldn't be able to compete if they didn't know that I'm going to be there with them. Most of the time our coaches do it with them too. We do the push-ups, or we do the up downs, or we do sometimes
that's why your back's hurting you.
Yeah. I just get going. If I'm real good, feeling good that day, I'll just make them do push-ups and yoga, poses, and make them hold it, and just to mess with them. But I think it matters if you're willing to do that with them. Mm-hmm. I didn't miss that shot, but I lost with you. I won with you, and I lost with you. So anyway, that's accountability and consistency. They know, it's something as simple as this, Matt. If you're doing a push-up, do the push-up the right way. You can't just go through it and halfway. And then when you get up, you got to pop up on 2 feet. And I always say, you don't crawl up like an old man. I mean, that's how I would get up. You got to pop up. So if we see somebody not pop up, we do them again and again.
Yeah.
It's pretty good when you get 30 guys, they finish, it's 10, everybody's up, and we move. So just something simple like that.
Yeah, but that helps your culture move in the right direction that you want it to. And I love the idea of, as leaders, we're not going to ask our players to do anything that we wouldn't do. And so it sounds like you just have that type of accountability and culture with your guys.
That's, to me, they realize that I hurt just like they hurt, and I feel good just like they feel good, and we're all in it together. And I think that in today's world, especially, if you can do that, you're going to be successful regardless of your talent level, whatever, because everybody's going to be on the same page. Nice. And that's what you got to figure out, is how to get them all on the same page.
Thank you for checking out today's episode. Please take a moment to subscribe to this podcast, share it with your fellow coaches, and find us on social media for what's coming up next on the JAMODI podcast. It's just a matter of doing it.